This is the 6th annual State of the Energy Industry Summit here in Washington, sponsored by the U.S. Energy Association. This year's focus, relatively simple. Can the U.S. become completely decarbonized? That is, no longer dependent on fossil fuels. Clean Sky's Dan Goldstein was there for today's event. He joins us now. And Dan, one concern is not just can this be done, but in all honesty, can we do so without a major jump in our electricity prices?
Right, Tyler, and that's obviously going to be the big challenge. This probably is going to be this generation's moonshot, as it were, taking the carbon, as you said, out of the electricity industry without hiking electricity prices. And one of the things that U.S. consumers have benefited from is having relatively stable electricity prices, about 12 cents per kilowatt hour on average over the last 40 years. Now, today's event looked at what really we could call two tracks. Track one, a decarbonized future. That is, of course, where nuclear, wind, solar, and biomass take over the bulk of the electricity production in the United States. And let's call it the second track, which is a low-carbon future, basically, where natural gas and perhaps carbon capture and sequestration with coal take over the other half. And obviously what you heard today from a lot of speakers was decarbonizing that electricity sector is going to happen faster with cap and trade. But many speakers today at today's event basically said they were not optimistic that they were going to see any sort of a bill being passed this year and getting to the president's desk. That being said, decarbonization in at least one or several forms is going to happen, and it's going to happen with at least the help from the federal government. And much of that lifting already we've been seeing. American Electric Power got $334 million from the federal government for its carbon capture and sequestration, the next stage for its demonstration stage, and more is going to be on the way. We always talk about here in Washington how the Department of Justice is the biggest law firm in the United States, perhaps even the world. Well, the Department of Energy is quickly becoming the world's biggest venture capital firm, and billions of loan guarantees for alternative energy are going to be going out the door shortly, even though many in Congress say that's not enough, and we heard that a lot from today's speakers. Now, many of the speakers I talked to today, Tyler, said that at least in the short term, the federal government is going to be the bank for a lot of those energy projects, at least until the private sector gets back on its feet.
It's going to take the federal government to help get these first few reactors started to help the financing, but then eventually the private sector will step in and move from there. But right now it's going to take both. It's going to take a full portfolio of financial options to get these going.
Now, Tyler, you heard whatever path the U.S. takes, one thing is certain: energy efficiency, you heard today from a lot of speakers, is going to be the low-hanging fruit in reducing demand. And one of the ways that they think that they can probably do that the best is putting more funds into smart grid, and that could be very good for efficiency, especially a good investment for the federal government, which is already putting billions of dollars out on the street. And you heard Howard earlier basically telling speakers, he said that billions in smart grid investments and grants that are going to go out are going to pay off big time in efficiency and jobs, and very soon. And obviously jobs are on a lot of people's mind, Tyler, on the minds of people in the government and without. Tyler.
All right, Dan Goldstein, thank you very much.